Now, you dream of you know, prompting an agent to join our competition. It's like, are you going to have a tool that knows how to put together all of these and whatever? I've had a lot of conversations about these plugins with different AI chats and tried to narrow them down to which would be the most interesting for our first competitions around detecting alpha. The answer is like not that many. So what I've identified are like which ones are producing really interesting data streams where an agent might be able to detect alpha. It's like Twitter, different price feeds, some of the dexes, and then there's some missing ones that I think would be very cool, like being able to pull data from Substacks. There's some that are kind of out of our realm, like the Masari data feed, only enterprise licenses get it, things like that. So how would I want to build an agent with those tools? Well, for me, I think now since MCP has come around, I've been really interested in like, well, MCP gives skills to the model, so the model can put those skills together in whatever order it reasons through makes sense. So what you'd really want are like the ELIZA plugin capabilities, but for the specific data feeds I'm talking about and available over MCP. Problem is ELIZA doesn't read MCP currently, so it's not really going to work that way in ELIZA. I did find the other day this Daydreams agent framework, which is fully MCP integrated. So I haven't actually tried it. In theory, you can attach a model with an agentic workflow to various MCP resources. So this is kind of the dream for me. It's really close. If I could prompt a strategy to define a workflow, give that workflow to a model, let the model execute a bunch of tools at its disposal, and then store things on recall, we're talking very close. Okay, I can't do that today. So what did I do to get started? Well, I mentioned already that some of the plugins that are available in ELIZA could be useful here, but they're not MCP plugins, or they're not MCP services. So I started by just taking the Twitter plugin in ELIZA and saying, what if that was an MCP server? The reason the Twitter client in ELIZA is really cool is that it does scraping. You don't need to have the Twitter API keys. Okay, that's super exciting because you don't have to spend $40K a month, if I recall, for an enterprise Twitter API when you run out of quota. All right, so let's embed that in an MCP server. So then I could use that same capability from any tool that supports MCP, including that new agent framework. Well, I already did that. So I prompted that this afternoon. And so now I have this little server that exposes an MCP server that wraps that Twitter client, just so I didn't have to re-implement that Twitter functionality. Now, if I go to Claude, if you check your settings, I've gone ahead and added that server here. And when you set this all up, it kind of runs its own instance of the server, and this server then gives Claude all these new tools. So you'll see that Claude already has the skills to do things with Twitter. If I go back to Twitter, now I have this list of crypto AI agent projects. I can go back to Claude and say, all right, so I can ask you something about this list in a way that Claude didn't know how to do before, it can now do. So I'll go ahead and allow it. And it's going off to my little local server, scraping that Twitter list, analyzing the tweets, giving me some information about the tokens that are most recently spoken about. Okay, cool. I already have my first alpha. Now, if you can imagine this in a agentic workflow, I'm just using Claude here because it has excellent, out of the box MCP support, so I can show you what it's doing. But you can see I'm already 50% of the way towards alpha detection here. If I ran this on a loop, I'd be doing it faster. If I had some analysis afterwards, I'd be getting better signal out of this list. So let's do that next. Let's go back to cursor. Well, first, actually, what do we want to do next? I actually thought it would be very interesting here. Don't worry, I'll throw that away after we're done. I thought it'd be very interesting to go back to CoinGecko. I think one of the next things you want to do is be able to look at the current prices and price action of the different tokens that are listed, figure out what chains they're on, stuff like that. Let's see if we can add a second set of services here. Let's see, what do they have for libraries? So yeah, okay. Okay, but do they just have here we go. Well, I heard that any of these endpoints should be, I think there's a way to get, oh, okay. Yeah, so these should be easy to wrap in MCP. So actually, we don't have to do it. I forgot also, I Googled this earlier. We don't have to do it at all. We can actually just run this one locally. I could clone this one, set it up, give this as a second resource to Claude, and then it would be able to go read those and then check. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is the way. All right, the last piece that I thought would be cool to have that isn't out there easily is an unofficial curl, unofficial Substack API. So let's go back in here. Okay, so here we have cursor just going off and documenting this API for me. While that's running, I'm going to go get the CoinGecko MCP server set up. I'll be right back. Okay, so it's been, Cursor's been off building our first Substack implementation. So let's look at that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Pretty perfect. Maybe. I guess I could have it build tests. No. already built the tests. Okay, cool. So in theory, let's see if this built. Well, at the same time, I've gone ahead and with the CoinGecko MCP, so that worked really well. We can see that the number of skills has gone up quite a lot. See, now it knows how to get historical data. Oh, there's our Substack skills and Twitter. Let's see. So I don't know why I think like Twitter might choke on this sometimes. I think that one's working. Yeah. So yeah, let's just see if it knows how to use. Okay. So it's working. I'm gonna find a. I'm trying to find a good Substack here. Well, that's working. That we can use to test some Substack stuff. Trying to find anybody interesting here. See what it did. Okay. Pretty great. I don't know the Substack, so let's just see how it does. Okay. I think that's because this one is hosted its own domain. I think that sort of messes with the Substack API. That's fine. Let's stop it. Right. Oh, this is the way to go. I know it's there. Let's look again here. Why would that be? What would that? Okay. Well. Great. So the way to get that in here is, yeah. Let's go here, kind of start again. I don't know why it didn't like that list, but said if I'll find a larger one, and then found 30 fewer. But okay, so great. We have some alpha now. Okay. Okay. Going against my vibe coding ethos again. Okay. 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 I see. Is it Substack.com or I think that's what's happening. I think what Claude is doing is just passing it the Substack ID, and I think our server is written to want the ID to be the full ID and domain. That might have been to support the cases where the Substack is on a custom domain. So it makes sense. Same thing again. I love this. I love turbo mode. Just let it go. I think it's going. No errors. Okay, cool. Okay, it turned it into their tickers already. That's brilliant. Great. what it does. I think it would have been smart to limit it to one, but maybe not. Nice. So let's do it the best way possible here. I think it thinks highly of our searchability, but cool. I mean, I think the premise works. I've got 3 tools here to now figure out some alpha. I've got Twitter scraping, I've got Substack scraping, I've got CoinGecko API, all in MCP endpoints. Can plug them into Claude, which means I can plug them into any agentic framework or tools that also support MCP. Pretty excited with this. I think next thing I'll try is that Daydreams agent kit and agent framework and see what we could build there for a little real-time alpha detection. Cool. Have a good weekend.